Oh, hello. Well, welcome to day 18. We're on day 18 now, somehow. Day 18 of the FrankenGames, a video series in which I look at every Frankenstein video game ever made, as far as I know. I've looked all over the place for them. But yeah, this is the 18th day of this. I look at a few video games each day, but before I even get into the games, I always start off with a random quote from the book by Mary Shelley that is the source for all of this. We would not have Frankenstein games if there were not a Frankenstein book from 1818. So it's an oldie, but it's a good one. You should read it. But yeah, I always pull a random quote, and today's random quote is, "Am I thought to be the only criminal when all humankind sinned against me?" Simple one, right? He's the creature who does do some pretty bad stuff in the book. He does defend himself. The creature, in this instance, is saying, "Look, am I going to take the blame here? Am I the only one who's going to get called out when everyone has been against me? Everyone." And it's saying, every person, every system, every prejudice. The whole world's against this character. And he's saying, look, if everyone has wronged me, am I the one who's going to be responsible? Well, that's one of those literature questions, one of those lit class questions of the creature's done some bad stuff, but can you hold the creature entirely responsible when it's the world around him that has kind of led him down this path of ruin, of causing ruin and killing people? And so there you go. That's today's random quote, and that's some thoughts on what it might mean. But we're ready to move on to the first game now. Here we go. Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, just taking the title from the book itself entirely. It's from 2020, it's on Windows. It's by a developer named Wills Martin, and their short description is a short interactive poem about Mary Shelley's novel of the same name. There are a few things like this that are they don't call it a game, they call it interactive poem, interactive story. And I've kind of been making judgment calls around because I'm playing the video games, so for my purposes, I'm looking for meaningful interactivity. So just know that. And then I'm going to play this one, so obviously this one passed that particular bar for me. So let's load it up. I have to point out, this is from 2020. We are well into the itch.io era, because the final 20-some% of games that I'm gonna look at are all from 2020 to 2024, so about 5 years. Yeah, you read all that. I'm not gonna read it out loud. But yes, we're in this era where Frankenstein just is a popular subject for itch.io developers. Itch.io, of course, is the storefront where it's much more open than a place like Steam. Anyone can make a game, host it on itch.io, and they'll just give you hosting so you can distribute your game. So when I searched there were a ton of games. And I know, at least according to some descriptions, there have been a few game jams that are horror-focused, Frankenstein-focused, and I think that's why there are so many Frankenstein games on that storefront. And why I'm going to end up having to look at so many of them is because I think there have been a few efforts that put Frankenstein into people's minds, and then they make games or interpret Frankenstein into a video game, or in short interactive poem as we have here. Oh yeah, we have a few games that are kind of funny with the controls, which indie development, amateur development. Affectionate. I mean, in amateur development in an affectionate way, because I myself am an amateur developer as well, and I guess if you're not getting paid for it, it's amateur development, really, technically. But yeah, I only mention the controls thing here and the funkiness of it because I couldn't get this to work. I couldn't get the camera to cooperate. But I figured out I'll have to use an actual mouse connected to the machine. So here we go. So pretty straightforward. I think it is. This might be one of, if not the only game that I can actually finish in the time I give myself in these videos. So just know that up front. So we're collecting parts, we're getting some poem. Did I request the maker for my graves and my morgues to mold me monster? So we're just gathering the parts and we're getting little poetry bits as we go. This is actually a really common, I was going to say the assemblage aspect of Frankenstein is not just common in this era, it's common throughout. We've already seen this. We have so many games, going back to the 80s even, where the goal is just collect the parts and assemble Frank the monster, because I think that's just some developers were like, look, either you're fighting the monster or you're building the monster. What else are you doing in relation to the monster? So, life sprung of a corpse, assembled from pieces of the dead, you have made me unclean. Once again, I am unable to get into the mood and read things in a spooky voice, because what can I tell you? I'll just say I'm not an actor. That'll be my excuse. We can try one. Let's see what spooky is for me when I try to read this.
My strange, stubborn skeleton, with a husk that screams, fiend, demon wretch.
That's not bad. That's certainly creepy.
Creepy, scratchy voice.
I'll keep doing that. Why not?
How else to name your evil, but to make it plain, and so I fled.
Look at that. It stays on screen just long enough for me to read it. That's good development right there. They figured out their timing. Here we have a pelvis, I think. Is that the bone? Is that anatomy? Is this thing called a pelvis? Pretty sure it is. I know it's the thing you tend to break when you get older.
I lived next to a family of eyes and prayed for their gaze to absolve me of everything innate in my body.
Yeah, I think this is just a creature lamenting, recounting their experiences and how it made them a wretch, because they just wanted to have a good time being alive, and the world does not permit it.
I saw my reflection in the water, my gaping mouth of a visage seemed like it could swallow me and everything I'd been becoming.
Let's do a different spooky voice. What's a different spooky voice? Oh, the head. Is that the last bit? I do like this, by the way. It's a small game, you know. It's free to download, like many of these games will be. So I think I'll just point out I do like the vibe. Very dark. Oh, there are so many games. Not so many. There are some games where the lighting is not an issue, but it's gonna be a thing. Like where it's just dark. like this. You can barely make out anything. So even though I like the dark vibe here, it is it can make it tough to, you know, get all the way through. Alright, here we go, last part.
What I wouldn't give to be a grave again, to hold dirt and grass like it was skin, to never hope again.
That's it. It closed itself. I didn't even have to end it. Alright, well there you go. That's a short and sweet one. Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus by Wills Martin from 2020. I like it. Short and sweet. It was enjoyable. Alright, let's hop over and see what's next. Okay, next up is, well, I could have done that a little more easily by just doing this. Frankenstein Pet from 2020, also on Windows. Actually, I think every single game I'm looking at from this point forward is a Windows executable or a browser game. I think, again, being part of this itch.io, well, just being part of the modern development era, everything's on Steam or itch.io, and everything's in browsers. So I think it all fits. We're just following what's popular in this day and age. All right. Well, sorry. It's by Mr. Bunn, and it says, "Build your new pet from the discarded parts of other people's pets." So this also speaks to another kind of thing I ran into, which is how far are we getting from the story? I've been saying from the beginning, it's got to have the creature or the creator or the theme of Frankenstein in some way. And so many of these, or some of these, are going to get pretty far from that. And I'll point those out as I go along, but this one, I think this one's fine. This one, you're assembling creatures from parts. That's true Frankenstein tradition, so we're all good here. All right, Frankenstein Pet. Build your new pet from the discarded parts of other people's pets. Find the pieces floating down the river. Oh, this one. Yeah. I have launched all of these for at least a minute, so I'll be familiar with some aspects of these things. But this one, yeah, this one. I remember this one. All right, put your pieces together to make a pet that can survive. Bring your new pet to life. Put your pet into the arena to solidify its survival. So, all right. Yeah, first we have this like furious clicking minigame thing where you're collecting boxes that contain parts. So, and I forget when it cuts me off, but it does eventually cut me off. For the time being, though, it's just going to be a lot of clicking noises that will come through in the microphone, I'm sure. Alright, collected all the body parts you can, get them back to the lab and get your new pet put together. Okay, so now we have to fill in these body part slots. I do like this. That's something I do like about the assembly genre, we'll call it that, Frankenstein assembly line genre. They do good work. I like the way the different developers are conceptualize, like, yeah, how do you in gameplay, how do you actually allow a player to assemble, a character from parts? Oh, what is that? Oh, it doesn't even let me put it as a limb. So what is it? Yeah, I have no idea what that is. This looks like a head. Oh, according to this, it's a body. Oh, those are abs. I see. These are legs. So we're doing that. This is a tail? Oh, they have stats too. I'm not paying attention to the stats at all. This looks like it has some good stats. Just, what is this? Okay, well, I'm really not paying attention to the... I need a head. Oh, tell me I have a head. Would they let me proceed without a head? Oh. What's going on here? I mean, I think they're going to have to allow me to proceed to the next area, even if I don't have a head. I'll take the fried egg, sure. Also, anyone who's seen 90s drug commercials, this is your brain, right? The fried egg should be the brain. That should have been a head component. It just has limb, though, so I guess it'll just let me put any limb. No, it's not letting me. I mean, I'll just try everything at this point, but it sure does look like I am not going to have a head going in. Oh, what is that? Why is that legal? Okay, whatever. Sure. All right, so you've assembled some stuff. You stuffed food into the dead animal parts. It's not coming to life now. Oh, I guess we have to please name your pet before bringing it to life. Oh. Joe? I'm trying. Can I type? Oh, is this doing some weird stuff? Yeah, it is. Doing some weird Windows stuff. There we are. Go. I don't think there's any sound. If you're expecting sound, I don't think there will be. I don't know what happens now. Oh, you know what? No, that's not doing it either. The body parts are gone. Oh, did I hit a bug? Oh, come on, this worked before. Oh, I have to train. Oh, that's right. I got confused. So this is the game. So I've assembled a creature here. We're not going to see these actions carry out. Let's just do one of each. There's a feed my pet. Ooh, my NRG, whatever that is bad. It's the negative. I'm going to walk the pet. I'm going to train the pet. And then I'm going to battle. So I threw every piece of my new pet at the challenger and knocked out my opponent. Too bad they won't let you go get the pieces. What does that mean? It just keeps repeating the same thing. And I don't know what that is. I can still feed it. So I'm assuming we're still okay. Alright, we're battling. We're battling. We're feeding. We're walking. We're training. We're battling again. Walking. Yeah, they're just repeating. Let me restart. We'll do one more run, just to confirm that I didn't break something in that last pass. The last attempt. Oh no. Come on, we have a fish head. Okay. I saw that on the list. I need a head this time. I don't want to go in headless. Yeah, that's the thing about being a human. If you have a head with no eyeballs, it just looks weird. Would that be anthropomorphizing? Anthropomorphizing? Whatever the word is. Probably. I need to see a face, basically. Whatever I create, it has to have a face. That's why we make robots with faces, but your robot does not need a face. Alright, what kind of heads do we have this time? Oh, we have a frog torso. Can I get this? Can I replace it? Oh, lame. Exploding? I don't know what the explosion's about. I thought I had a fish head. Oh, that's lame. I swear. Oh, there it is. I said I should. There it is. Thank you. Alright, we have a frog leg. We have a monkey. I think there's some kind of indistinct humanoid arm. What else? We need a bottom limb. Let's just go with this again. And then I can throw in an extra thing. Fishbowl. Sure. And then let's name this Jope. Play God. Alright, once you hit play God, you lock yourself in. So that's the same as last time. I'm going to feed it. I'm going to walk it. I'm going to train it. We're going to fight. Oh! Okay. There's some video game happening. You know, this time my pet got killed. That's a bummer. So what happens now? Oh, I think last time I was just dead the whole time. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the extent of this game. Okay, well, there you go. That is Frankenstein Pet in 2020. Yeah, I like the building. I like the assembling. The latter part, it could have used some scene for each thing, like a feeding scene, a training scene, a battle scene, right? Just something to visualize what was going on. Otherwise, it's like an old text adventure or something where they was just all played out as numbers and text on the screen. So yeah, it needs a little more there. But hey, again, these are all like, these are efforts that are not meant to be like AAA shipping games. They're just like, folks getting into development and trying stuff out. So, I'd say good work. Again, I like the assembly part. That's really creative. I dig it. But now let's move on to the final game of this video, which is Frankenstein Recycled from 2020, played in browser, as you're already seeing. It's developed by Point Size Press. The goal is to collect the body parts from Dr. Victor Frankenstein needs while avoiding the town watch. Okay. I forget. Oh, here we go. Full screen. Apologies to Mary Shelley. Don't worry about it. She's cool with it. I still think like the fact that it's public domain and popular and people are free to like take Frankenstein and rework it in the way they see fit. I think that's totally in line with what the story is. Right? right? You're taking components and pieces and assembling something new from that. I guess even though that's a bad thing in the story, I think these creative efforts all lend themselves to that lineage, I guess. So I like it. All right. We want to go onwards to the... Is there anything below? No. Let's do it. Oh, it's a lot of reading. But there's choices. That's the main thing with these visual novels and text-based games. As long as there are meaningful choices along the way, we're going to do it. How much should I read? I'll do a little bit. All right. It is early summer, 1818. You have returned to your ancestral home, a schloss? Schloss? What is that? Schloss? School? Who knows? A schloss looming over a small picturesque town in the foothills of the mountains after a row with your colleagues, oh my, in the university and anatomy department. The fools, some say that it cannot be done. Timid cowards, they lack the skill and courage to undertake a task that had been beyond the reach of men for eons. I think that's eons. No, it will take an inspired, resolute, fearless scientist like you. Success will write your name in the annals of history. The theory is simple, but execution will prove complex. Why is that clickable? Do I dare? Let's do it. Oh, they're just little explanatory side bits. Oh, I like that. It's like a little footnote, a clickable footnote, which is how interactive text like this should be. Like, instead of making you read a footnote at the bottom of a page, it should be a clickable thing that sends you back when you're done reading it. Reanimation by the means of galvanism can be easily demonstrated by making a dead frog spasm when electricity is applied. However, the effects are only transient, and I seek a long-lasting reanimation. If a deceased corpse is reanimated, it will quickly expire from whatever caused the original death. Creating a composite body that does not include the site or effects of the original fatal disease or injury will surely overcome this. My task is to test the conjecture of theory by experiment. From the Theory and Practice of Reanimation, Victor Frankenstein, privately published, 1818. That must be from the story. Some bit where he explains how the theory works. All right, we're up here. With painstaking care and patience, you have assembled the laboratory equipment and all chemical substances that you will need. Apart from Igor, your loyal but cerebrally challenged servant, and all of the other staff that has been dismissed, if the gossiping townsfolk think it because you are short of money, we'll let them. It only remains to collect the human body parts that the experiment requires: a head and brain, left and right arms, a torso, left and right legs. I'm using my hands a lot as I read. I think it helps me to keep the pace of the words. You have drawn up a mental list of where to get body parts, but secrecy, I'm still messing them up, but secrecy will be vital. In these backward rural parts, few people will look kindly on your experiments if they were known. Where do you want to go first? All right, here we go. Let's get some video gaming in here, some interactivity. Do I want to go to the undertakers, the graveyard, the surgeons, the prisons, the footpaths? So we're looking for parts. I feel like the undertaker would have the choicest body parts, right? Surgeons? But you're not going to get a surgeon to give you anything. I think they'd be the most... This is like an ethics scale. Who would be the most ethical and thus the least likely to give me stuff? And who's the least ethical and most likely to give up what they have? I feel like a prison would not be very ethical in this time and place. Let's see what happens. A brigand who waylaid and murdered a traveling coppersmith and tinker making his way through the Schwarzwald forest, was sentenced to hang this afternoon. The execution took place outside the town goal at 3 o'clock. Yeah, some of the words are throwing me off as well. It was witnessed by a large crowd of the idle and curious townsfolk, many of whom had now repaired to the alehouses and taverns, leaving the body to hang overnight. That's gross. I mean, that's basic. I mean, beyond the morality of having just murdered someone, where's the hygiene here? Where's the cleanliness of not leaving decomposing bodies out in the open? All right, this customary practice, whilst barbarous, yes, could be useful to you in your time of need, and would it not be a fit punishment for this convict to now serve the more noble cause of scientific progress. You have found 3 body parts that could be useful in your experiment: the right leg, torso, and right arm. Hey, that's really good. That's a lot. That's a whole lot in one swoop here. Now take a closer look, unless you will decide swiftly to return home or move on. Closer look? Is that going to make me lose time or something if I do that? Some of the games do that. Like if you inspect too much, if you spend too much time reading, you lose time and get caught or something. But I don't know if this game would have that. Examining the recovered body parts carefully in the light of your shielded lantern, they are from a recently deceased corpse. Sever and take the right leg, sever and take the torso, sever and take the right arm. Choose which, if any, body part or parts you want to collect and hand them to Igor. Igor's not in the book. I'm sure I've mentioned this already in the past, but just a reminder, he's not in the book. So it is interesting when he gets brought into the story, but I guess this is to give Victor someone to bounce off of in the story, like an assistant, someone who's helping, someone to talk with, etc. So I get why people would choose to add him in there. Let's take the torso. Why wouldn't I just take it all? Yeah, I'm going to take everything. Collect the body parts you want first. I did that. Body parts. Oh, it's keeping track. That's good. So just remember that. Torso, right leg, right arm. Body parts back in your inventory cold store are: the cold store is empty at the moment. Return to the corpse and change your choice of what to take. Move on? There's still time to move on and check another location tonight before dawn. Oh, there's time. There is some kind of time element. Okay. Move through the town you set out, keeping as far as possible to ill-lit alleyways. Why am I having so much trouble reading? I think because I do not read out loud often, so not used to it. Ill-lit alleyways and shadows, avoiding the wider streets that lead to the town square. Igor is carrying the larger tools and the collected body parts. You have the smaller and more delicate surgical instruments. Oh, there's a distinction between the types of tools, too. The town seems to be deserted tonight. Where do you want to go next? What is a footpad? Is there a highlight explaining that? No, there's not. All right, so we're missing a head and a left arm, maybe a brain. I think the surgeon has to be that. The doctor lives in a large house in a fashionable part of town, as befits his standing in the community. The surgeon likewise resides and works in a location appropriate to his standing. Setting broken bones and performing amputations are tasks more fit for a tradesman than a professional medical practitioner. Despite the social division, the failures of one often provides work for the other. How long do I want to play? A little bit more. You have found 2 body parts. I guess meaningful progress here might be if I can find all the parts. All right, you have found 2 parts that could be useful. Left leg and the head. That's what I was missing. So I think we're good. All right, examining the recovered body parts carefully in the light of your shielded lantern, they are from a recently deceased corpse. Take the leg, take the head. What is happening? Igor is already carrying the tools. He cannot carry more than 4 body. No way. Interesting. I don't think that was explained somewhere, but now I know. So he can only carry 4 things at a time. What does that mean? Choose which of any body parts. I mean, I think the head is the most critical thing here. I don't know why this is like this, but that's how it is. I guess I'm stuck. We have to go back. Yeah, we have to go home. All right. Body parts collected tonight are torso, right leg, right arm. Body parts collected here are left leg. Body parts back in your store are empty. Let's go. Oh, can I redo it? Oh, let's take the head. That feels more important. All right. Now we can go home. So returning to the safety of your laboratory, you set out keeping as far as possible to ill-lit alleyways and shadows. Again, avoiding the wider streets that lead to the town square. Igor is carrying the larger tools and the collected body parts. You have the smaller and more delicate surgical instruments. Only when putting the key in the lock of your door do you begin to feel safe. The door swings open. You and Igor hurry down the stone, flagged passageway to the laboratory. Back at your lab, you take the fruits of your night's work into the cold storage to pack it in ice. You review the neatly labeled body parts in the cold store with satisfaction: a head, a right arm, right leg, and a torso. You have 4 of the body parts you need for the experiment, but you still need another 2. 2? Huh. Leaving the bottles, spirit lamps, surgical instruments, and Leyden jars, you retire to bed, and Igor climbs up the steep stair to his cot in the attic. Alright, next day, I assume. You rise late, tired after your efforts last night. Igor brings your breakfast coffee and reports the whole town is in an uproar. So this gets them all riled. I like that. During the night, another dreadful desecration has taken place. Clearly this will make the town watch more alert, and your future work in the town more difficult, but these challenges must be overcome. The prospect of delay irks you, although waiting 2 nights before trying to get more body parts will reduce the chances of interference from the town watch. Bold or cautious? What, hold on. What's the consequence of waiting? Why wouldn't I just wait? Like, are the parts gonna decay in the cold storage or something? I'll be bold, just to speed things along. Alright, so we're gonna be bold. The town watchmen are fat and idle fellows who do not frighten you now. That success is so close. The experiment is too important to delay it now. There's no choice but to go out tonight. Oh, not the surgeon? Really? Oh, that sucks. Alright, it's a fine night, unfortunately, that will increase the chances of being noticed. You look around carefully. The dark, empty streets and alleyways of the town seem to be deserted. Breaking into the Undertaker's is taking a risk. It is sure to be discovered in the morning. However, if you can get some of the body parts you need for your experiment, they should be fresh. This will reduce the amount of prep needed in your lab. You have found one body part that could be useful. It is a head. Now take a closer look. Yes, we will. Examining the recovered body part carefully in the light of your shielded lantern, it is from a recently deceased corpse. Take it. Give it to Igor. Alright, so we have... According to... What am I missing? A brain? Like, I have head, right arm, right leg, torso. Oh, did I already have a head? Oh no. I forgot that I already had a head. No, yeah, my bad. Alright, there's still time to move on and check another location tonight before dawn. Moving through town, you set out keeping as far as possible to ill-lit alleyways and shadows, avoiding the wider streets that lead to the town square. Igor is carrying the larger tools and the body parts, so we have the instruments, yada yada. Oh no, here it comes. From the darkness, a shout rings out, "Hey, you, stop," and 2 burly men with lanterns come towards you. Damnation, it is the town watch. It is lucky that you are not carrying any body parts at the moment. Oh, look at that. That worked out. The watchmen can question you, but a plausible story will be enough to content them. Then you can go home. Only when you put the key in the lock of your door do you begin to feel safe. The door swings open, letting you and Igor through to your beds. After a sleep disturbed by troubling dreams, you wake in the morning. Alright, so we rise late, tired after our efforts last night. Igor brings breakfast and coffee and reports, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, everyone's upset. Clear, so they're going to be more alert. Sure. The prospect of delay, I say we be bold. Although I did get caught in that last pass. If I'd had a body part, I guess it would have been game over. But I say we go for it. Alright, so, you run out of locations. I still don't know. What's a footpad? Someone tell me. A prudent disguise conceals your identity for a visit to a filthy, unkempt, ramshackle drinking den behind the town's slaughter yard. The surroundings are not salubrious and the quality of the brandy atrocious, but you do meet the leader of a rough-looking band of men seeking to sell a warm woolen coat, slightly marred by some stains that look much like blood. Further inquiry of the fellow revealed that he and his associates often find items in the Schwarzwald forest that careless travelers have dropped. After a few more drinks, he admits that they also might also, maybe, find the corpses of unfortunate wayfarers who have fallen victim to the assaults of wild animals or other fatal accidents. Every time there's like these body snatching characters, they always murder someone, right? It's like a wink. It's like, yeah, we'll find some body parts for you, implying they're going to go kill someone. So I think that's what I'm assuming here as well. When you hint of a possible business proposition, the man looks around the room and makes a hushing gesture before indicating with his thumb that this conversation would be better continued outside, away from eavesdroppers and prying eyes. You do not mention why you want a fresh corpse. Casual thing. While your new friend pockets some coin and does not ask. He agrees to take the body of the next unfortunate traveler they find to the edge of the forest so you can collect it for a good Christian burial. After 2 days, you get a message that the body is waiting. You'll have to examine the body tonight before it is disturbed or discovered. Let's do it. All right. We found one body part that could be useful. It's the right arm. I have a right arm, don't I? Let's move on. It's too late to risk searching elsewhere. Return home. Great. Dispirited, you return home, but after a warm glass of brandy, your determination to succeed at any cost returns more strongly than ever. You retire to bed, and blah, 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 phantoms rising. All right. Coffee, more reports. Oh, the town was quiet. Okay. All right, well, all that's left is the graveyard, so let's go in there. So that an owl hoots in the darkness, and a thick blanket of cloud hides the stars, while the cold rain and early morning hour keep people in their beds, away from the burial ground behind the Berg Kirk of St. Johann. What is a Berg Kirk? Many of the gravestones are old, weathered, and lichen covered, but towards the southern end are newer graves, including one freshly filled this morning. You will have to work quickly to recover the body and conceal the disturbance before sunrise. You'll find one body part. It could be useful. It's a left arm. I don't want a left arm. I already have one. Return to the corpse. Move on. It's too late. Let's go home. I guess. All right. I don't understand. All right. So you have decided to be cautious. Why risk meeting the town's watchman when success is so close? Having to wait is an irksome hindrance, but the experiment is too important and successful, and success is too close to put in peril now. 2 days later, you and Igor are ready to go out again. You have tried all of the possible sources of body parts in this town. This has not gone unnoticed. The townsfolk are horrified at the string of crimes, and they're looking out for you. Find the jealous professors at the university frustrated you. First. Now these superstitious provincial yokels. There is no end to the frustrations that you must bear for the noble cause of science. Noble. But a delay would let you continue your researches elsewhere. Oh, well, I'm not going to read this out loud. Yeah, that's just... Alright, so what happened? That was the end of my story. Attempting to get the body parts you needed took 6 days. You visited 5 of the possible sources of body parts during your search. Over this time, you found 4 usable body parts. This was not enough. To perform the experiment in reanimation, you and Igor both remain free. Oh, so Igor can get caught. That's interesting. The noble advancement of science must continue, but our work here is done. Restart the story, or peek at the ending and see what might have been. Sure, I'll cheat it. I don't care. At last, you have all the body parts you need to go on to the real challenge, reanimation. With the assistance of Igor, you must prepare the laboratory. The lab is flooded by the light of many oil lamps. An unsteady hand or accidental slip could ruin everything. After a whole day of delicate surgery, assembling and joining the mixed assortment of body parts that you and Igor have been collecting, a body lies on the table in front of you. A storm that has been building all day breaks at last. Man, this is the longest playthrough for sure. Torrents of rain flooded the gutters, thunderbolts and lightning. I see you. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening. To the ignorant, but only a minor distraction, as you turn to Igor, who's standing beside a large switch on the wall that will channel the stored electricity from the Leyden jars into the newly constructed body. Okay? There's a crackling noise and the smell of ozone Well, then the body convulses. This is all too fast to read. For a few seconds, it looks like a success before the carefully crafted body falls back to move no more. What has gone wrong? What detail have you overlooked? You need to think. Again with this text. Why are we back in this long text that I'm not going to read? Interesting. Okay, so I guess that gives you like a peek at other... What if you had all the parts, you could continue? Not clear. In any case, that's it for me. That's it for Frankenstein Recycled from 2020. I like it. Straightforward text adventure style. Obviously some variables in there. You're collecting parts. You can get busted. Igor can get busted, which who knows what that does to a playthrough, but I think that's an interesting wrinkle as well. And I like it. I appreciate the variables. I think it's all very interesting and provides, different paths to explore. So that's all neat. That's the end of today. So this was day 18 of 31, in case I didn't mention that. So there's a whole lot of days ahead. But for now, that's it. So thanks for watching, and join me again tomorrow.